friends, my name is Aaliyah of Cozy Crochet Co. I show you how to crochet the cozy way. And I gave birth 3 weeks ago. I know, it's so crazy. Like 3 weeks go by so fast. And I posted a video on like my Instagram and on YouTube Shorts of me in active labor crocheting. So a lot of people wanted me to make a video on how my labor went and how everything went in like my birth story. So that's what I'm here today to do. And then later on in the video, I will go get my baby. He's in the next room taking a nap. And you will meet my little bundle of joy. So stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see my baby. But this birth was a little bit different than my last one. So at my first birth, I went into labor on my due date. This one, it was kind of a little bit more drawn out. I had an appointment the next day after my due date just in case. So I ended up going. They did another ultrasound and their main concern was like my fluids being low. And so they did some other tests, and my OB, I've like been with the same OB for I want to say like 6 years now, so anything that she says I trust. And she was like, yeah, your fluids are low and we're gonna have to induce you like today, like right now, go to the hospital right now. And I was like, okay. So I went to the hospital. My husband actually had to go back home because my mother-in-law was watching my son, but he forgot to put the car seat in her car just in case he had to go somewhere while we were at the hospital. So he went to go do that, and I went to the hospital, and they told me like, yeah, literally everything else seems fine. Our only concern is your fluid levels. We do not, anything bad to happen. She told me like what could happen and all this other stuff, and gave me the game plan. So they were going to induce me, and then she said, whenever you're ready for your epidural, just let us know and we'll go from there. So I was probably in the hospital a total of, I was probably like in this process for about like 12 hours. The first 8 hours, I feel like they gave me Pitocin to get my contractions going, but for some reason my contractions were just not coming. And I think he was just really stubborn. He was really like having a good old time in my stomach. So, and I just was not feeling contractions. I was chilling. They was up in my Pitocin and everything. They were like, are you feeling any contractions? I'm like, nope. So they ended up breaking my water, and literally like maybe 30 minutes after they broke my water, that's when I started feeling the contractions. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait out my contractions as long as I possibly can just to get labor going before I get my epidural, because if you get your epidural, things can slow down like significantly. And so I probably waited maybe like a few hours. I would say I lasted maybe like 2 hours in my contractions. They were pretty bad in my opinion, just because of the Pitocin. And then she came in, she was like, okay, let's check you, and I was only 3 centimeters. I was like, oh my gosh, I need an epidural. I cannot handle this. I'm thinking like we almost there, nowhere near. So I get my epidural, and so before I get my epidural, I look back at like the cart of stuff, like the needles and everything that the anesthesiologist is about to do for my epidural. And I look back at it, and my husband's there with me as my support person, and he looks at the cart and he's like, oh, that's a big needle. I'm like, oh yeah, it is what it is. I have to get my epidural because I do not like pain. I don't like going to surgery. I don't like getting anything done to me that causes me any type of pain. So if the epidural is going to be the last thing that happens to me before I feel any pain for the rest of this labor, let's get it done. So they gave me my epidural, and my husband's literally sitting right in front of me. He's like, all right, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm good. If I'm feeling my epidural, I'm good. And so then he's like, all right, I don't feel so good. I'm going to go lay down. And then when he says that, the nurse was like, oh no. And he falls, but she like pushes him on his bed. And all I heard was, he was about to pass out from my epidural, and I was just like, oh my gosh, no. And my nurse is literally shorter than me. She has to be like like 5 feet, right? And my husband is 6'5". And she's like, yeah, I had to push you on the bed because I would not be able to pick you up. None of us would. You're just too tall. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm okay. I just need to like catch my breath. And she was like, oh, well, do you need something to eat? Like, so they came out with a full spread. I'm hungry. That morning, all I had was like eggs and a little bit of sausage because I'm thinking I'm gonna come back home so I can eat, right? No, never came back home. I'm starving. They give him a full plate of food and snacks plus drink. And she's like, oh, I'm like, I'm hungry. And she's like, oh, do you want some juice? No, ma'am, I don't want no juice. I'm hungry. And he had this cookie on his plate. I was waiting for the nurse to leave so I could eat the cookie. It never happened. He ate the cookie and I was just so upset. I was so hungry. And so they checked me again and I'm like 8 centimeters dilated. So I'm like, okay, I'm happy. I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this, right? I'm just like, I'm so ready. I'm so hungry. I told my husband, as soon as I give birth, I need you to go get something to eat, right? And everything's closed. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning at this point. And so the doctor's like, yep, she was like, yep, you're 8 centimeters dilated. She was like, I would say like maybe in a few, like give it a few minutes and you might be ready to push and have your baby. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm over here like going through the motions. I can still feel pressure, but I don't feel like pain. So I feel like I'm ready to push, but I don't want to push without the doctor being there, right? So I tell the nurse, I said, I think I'm ready to push, right? And I don't want to have my baby right now, so can you get the doctor in here? And she's like, yeah, let's check you. And she's like, yep, I can see your baby's head. So I'm like, okay, yeah, come on, let's go. So I push out my baby and she said that it probably took like 15 minutes for the baby to be here, and he was born. It was a little bit scary, just a tiny bit scary, because his umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, and he came out so fast that he kind of like got a little bit choked. So some blood vessels burst in his eyes, and his face was really bruised and purple, but it cleared up, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to post any videos or post any pictures of him, because he looked really beat up. But it cleared itself up. Now he has his eyes have healed, his face is healed, so everything's good now, and he's happy and healthy. But that was really scary. I had never, like, it was one of those things that like time stops once you give birth. Time kind of stops because you're waiting for like your baby to cry, and he just didn't cry yet, and it was just like really scary. But as soon as he started crying, I heard him like cry. I was like, thank you, Lord, because I just was really scared. But God is good, and my baby is here and happy and healthy, and he's absolutely fine and beautiful. So didn't need any stitches, thank the Lord. And everything went well, and he just was perfect. He was born around 1 o'clock on November the 29th, and he's about 8 pounds 12 ounces, I think. Beautiful baby. And yeah, after that we went into the recovery room, and my mom and my mother-in-law came to visit us, and I just was ready to go home. I don't like staying in the hospital for long periods of time either, so being there for almost 3 days was kind of like but I was just happy to get home and to get into the rhythm and start healing and stuff. Breastfeeding is going great, and he's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. One thing, he looks just like his brother when he was a newborn, and like I keep calling him Amir. His name is Amias Jude, and he is just perfect. So yeah, that's my pregnancy story. So I'm gonna go grab him really quick and introduce you guys. Alright, y'all, so here is my precious baby boy. Here he is. Say hi. Hi, friends. Yes, let's see if we can get a better look at his face. Yeah, he does look a little mean. He's been mean. Looks just like his mommy. But yeah, he is absolutely perfect and precious, and my sweet boy. I do have a 2-year-old, and he is completely ignoring him. Postpartum right now is as good as it's gonna get. In my last pregnancy, I had postpartum anxiety really bad. This time around, I don't have that, which is a blessing, because I will tell you, postpartum anything is rough. And I'm just glad I have a really good support system. My healing and everything has been going very well. But yeah, he has a full head of beautiful hair, and he sleeps really well through the night, which is opposite of his little brother when he was a newborn. He kept us up, very much sleep deprived. But as far as that's concerned, videos are going to be sporadic, here or there. I do have a lot of videos planned for 2024. I'm just hoping that I can get back on track, but I'm not going to pressure myself too much, because it is kind of a challenge to do both YouTube and social media, and have a newborn and have a toddler. It's a lot. This house is crazy. My house has never been more busy. But my husband has been filling in when he can, which is amazing, and my family and my village have really been a blessing to me. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you have any questions, I want to hear them down below in the comment section. Literally, I'm an open book. You can ask me absolutely anything. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, create something gorgeous. Bye, guys.